Welcome back to Successful Kids, Successful Schools. I'm Penny Owen, and this is...
I'm Bill Cecil.
And we are trying to inspire you and incite you into looking at education as a hero's journey into the future and as a way to look at education as thinking outside the box. So this episode, we've talked about ourselves. We've talked about what it means to be a successful kid, which is being successful in the moment, not when they're adults. We've talked about building skills rather than absorbing data and knowledge. And now we're going to talk about how do we build successful schools? How do we take those successful kids and turn them into loving to come to school? I'm going to talk about this for a moment about my grandson. So I love my grandson because, of course, he is the smartest kid that God ever put on this planet, and an incredible student, an incredible athlete. There's nothing about my grandson that isn't incredible. And I'll ask him, how do you like school? He's a good student. He goes, yeah, it's okay. I mean, just like that. Yeah, it's okay. Really? He's been saying, yeah, it's okay from the time he entered school. It's only okay. If I ask other kids, how do they like school? Some of them just go, I hate it. And some of them go, yeah, it's okay. I have not heard one kid in the past 5 or 6 years who have said, yeah, I love school. School is like fun. I can't wait to get up every day to go to school. But that's our goal. That's what we want.
That is our goal.
That is our goal.
That just made my stomach hurt when you said that.
Yeah, we want kids to get up every day and go, I wonder what's going to happen in school today.
I even had parents that would say to me, for years I couldn't get my kid to go to school, and now even when they're sick, I have to fight them to stay home because they want to come to school so bad.
Right.
And I'd be like, I'm not putting that pressure on them. They're like, no, they just want to be there. They don't want to miss anything.
So how do we bring that love of learning back? So first we got to talk about how we lost the love of learning. And I'm going to talk about two things that we said we wouldn't get political, but I'm going to tell you that we have been doing tests since 2002. And teaching to the test has been a disaster. Yes, you're collecting data, and you really are working hard to collect data that can prove that the schools aren't doing their jobs, but you're not engaging the student. You're not motivating the student. Again, because a test is an abstraction. A test isn't an immediate result which I can see. It's not concrete. Watch me build this skill, right? Doesn't do that. A test doesn't do that. It isn't immediate. You get your results back later, and then what does it mean to you? A lot of kids can't even remember what they did on the test. I've watched kids, when they're taking the test, just go boom, 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 boom. I'm done. I mean, you know, and you can't say, but you didn't read it, but you know they didn't. They're like, I don't care. It's just not important. The other thing that I'm going to talk about, and I can talk about more in detail later, but social media has not served schools well in terms of community building. It is a way that we can speak ill of other students and get away with it. It is especially tough on girls. Boys don't seem to care so much. Maybe, but girls will say nasty things and then come back to school the next day, and you feel that energy that Bill talked about last episode, that it just feels like something's wrong. And it's because they've been on social media and somebody said, oh, did she see the dress she wore? It was so tacky. I'm like, oh my gosh, or she's fat, or whatever they're saying. So the fact is, we've done a lot of damage to schools in terms of community building. And we need to get back to that. And so I'm going to repeat some basics, and I'm letting Bill take over because Bill is the expert on the how to build. No, I do. how to build successful teams. Okay, so point number one, you want successful kids. You want them successful in the moment. Point number two, you want to build skills in elementary school, not knowledge-based, skill-based. And point number three, you want to give them a sense that they are on a winning team. So I'm going to now turn this conversation over to Bill, who's going to tell you how you can create the best year ever in your classroom.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so I mean, for me, it really is that we can't change certain things in education, just by having a conversation like this. But what we can do is hopefully uplift, motivate, and empower people, or entice and energize people to say, there's more to do. I can do other things. So what I was trying to do, at least during the last part of my career when the testing really became big, was that I'd still find time to work in my theme or my message or my mission to get them to really be successful and to still have fun coming to school. And so it's just a matter of, and again, if you can manage your team really well, or if you can get them all engaged going in the same direction, you're going to have a lot more time than some teachers that don't, and they're just fighting every day, putting out brush fires in their classroom instead of getting to just, the kids are locked in and going with you on the mission instead of you're fighting them to come out, you're dragging them versus they're kind of pushing it forward with you. And so it allows you still to do things like that. And so that's why I think this is a win-win in this situation where people can't say, but I don't have that luxury of saying I'm not testing anymore. You don't have that say. But you do have things you can control and take control of those things and really maximize them the most you can. And so for me, best year ever really is about getting kids to understand that best year ever isn't about perfect year ever. It's really not even about grades, It's really just about pushing yourself to face any and all challenges with an attitude that we collectively can do this, and I'm strong enough to do this because I've been on this team and I'm learning more skills to do it as I go as well. So it's for the team and the individual. But yeah, team is what brought those kids in every day. It was like they just wanted to be a part of it. Mm-hmm. So what I want to do here is I don't want to go into details of how I do all that because you could break those down and we'll have time.
And we're going to do that later.
Right. And so I can really go into detail. But I just want to give you, I'm going to ask you a question first. Do you ever remember a first day of school? First day of school, new school, add that on there too, maybe, where you're walking in, you don't know a whole lot of people, you don't know the teacher, you're going into that classroom for the very first time in your K-8 or K-12 experience. Did you ever remember one teacher, like within maybe 5 minutes, you knew, like, oh my gosh, this is going to be different?
Okay, I'm going to respond to that in a different way.
Yeah.
Now remember, I'm old.
Okay.
Like really old.
I will give you that.
I'm, yeah, okay.
I'll just stick with old, but go ahead.
I'm old, and corporal punishment was allowed when I was in school. So
I got it in the ear all the time.
Mostly we had teachers that were going to scare us. We had this one teacher in the 4th grade, Mrs. Smith. I'm saying her name because I hated her that much. She walked in on the first day of school with a paddle. And all the teachers had paddles. But usually the principal was the one that did the paddling, right? But she had a paddle that had holes in it.
Yes.
Which means you really get hit bad.
I had a teacher like that. He bragged about the holes.
So did she. Yeah. So she walked in and she got up to her desk with the paddle and she slammed it down. And she said, "Don't think I'm afraid to use this." Instantly, we hated her.
Right.
I mean, she inspired hatred, right? I did have a teacher in the 6th grade, and it's actually why I loved theater. Yeah. Okay, so I know this is hard to believe, but I stuttered, and I was incredibly shy through grade school. And I couldn't get up in front of the class and do anything, right? Couldn't. Terrified. And she was an actress. And she would say to me, "Just pretend you're somebody else." Like, oh,
That doesn't stutter.
this is magical, right? And so any report I ever gave, I'd be a character, right?
That's amazing.
And I was like fearless, and because I wasn't me. And but she said that that was like the first day of school. I'm an actress, and we're going to learn differently this year.
Yeah.
And I swear to you that everything that I've done in terms of education and drama
Yeah.
is because of Miss Colas.
Oh my gosh, that's cool. And think about the impact she's had on not just you, but on many, many other people as well, because you've had an impact on me that
That's
affected
right.
my teaching.
Oh, I never thought about
And
that.
think
Yeah.
of all those students I was able to work with. And,
Yeah.
and many of those are now teachers
Yeah.
that are doing the same thing, I hope. So yeah, so that's interesting. So yeah, so what my main goal is I'm just gonna talk about the first day right now.
Yep.
Within the first hour, I want to hit my kids with something they've never seen before. And that might be the actor in me. It's like make a dramatic entrance and really get them sitting up instead of, it's the old routine. Here's your materials. I'm Mr. So-and-so. Let's put this there, put that there. Okay, open up your math book. Oh, we're 10 minutes into the year. Let's get started, right? That's not me. I would come in and I would have a sign outside the door that said, come in, make yourself comfortable, get ready for a great year, and relax and breathe. And then I'd wait till every kid was in my classroom because I didn't want any stragglers out in the lockers because it was a 5-6 building. I was 5th grade. I didn't want them panicking out there. So I'd make sure all the kids, even kids across the hall, were getting into the room because I knew nothing was going on in the room because it's the first day of school. They're all nervous. So I let them all get in there and then I'd wait. Bell rang. I'd still be out there helping a couple other kids. I'd walk in. I'd close the door. Dramatic effect. They're locked in the room with me now. And so I would slowly just walk to the middle of the room smiling. Not a scary smile, just kind of smiling, like, very calm. And I'd say, imagine this person comes up to you and offers you a chance to have your best year ever. It's going to be a year you're never going to forget. It's going to be a year that will go by fast. It will be a year where you might make friends that will last a lifetime. And I start rattling off all these things that's going to happen. And I'll say, and the best part is at the end of the year, you're going to say, man, that was a fast year, but I think it was my best year ever. How many of you'd be? Well, first I did that for the first day of school. And then I said, what about the best year ever? How many of you'd be interested? All their hands go up. And I said, great, put your hands down because today's your lucky day. So now I've got them thinking in a positive way that this, right away, they're looking at me going, this is going to be different. First he talked about best day ever, first day ever. And now he's talking about best year ever. Who is this person? Because I never said who I was. And so then what happened is I would say, well, today's your lucky day because I'm that person. I'm here to make it happen. And then I would go again and market some of the positives that were going to happen. If you've struggled in the past, this is going to be a year you're not going to struggle nearly as much. In fact, you're probably by the end of the year going to feel like you can do more than you ever thought you could do before because you're going to have skills that you're going to have that you can actually use to make it happen. So and so they're glued to their seats looking at me. I kid you not, every kid is like this. And then I'd say, great. So, but there's a catch. And right away, they're like, what? Like, you're ripping us off. You got our spirits up or our hopes up. And I'd say, well, there is a catch. But the good news is it's only 3 words. And if you can learn and master these 3 words and practice them every day you come in this classroom, which they're easy to learn, easy to do, then you're going to guarantee I will do everything else guaranteed. Because I know from my experience, I will make it happen. I guarantee you're going to have your best year ever. And then I'd say, but you can't just do 2 of the words, you have to do all 3. And then I'd walk over to where the words were on my wall and I'd stand under them. I'd say, so these next 3 words are going to change your life: attendance, attitude, and effort. And then I would go through each one. And I won't do that right now. I'll do that down the road. But right away, they're thinking, this is something different. This is like, he's not just coming in and sit down, shut up, be afraid of me, and let's get going, right? I'm in charge. But they know that I'm a leader, that I have a vision, right? There's a quote by Bill Parcells that I really like, 2-time winning Super Bowl coach with the Giants. It says, winners develop a vision and enlist others to join them.
That's great.
It is. And my whole thing is, I would say, I'm only going to change it, guys, to say that leaders develop a vision and enlist, a grand shared vision and enlist others to join them. And
it's interesting how much sports is a part of what you do.
it is. It's because it's what saved me in school. It's what made me go to school.
Yeah, very interesting.
I felt comfortable on a team because I knew I could play a role even when I was small and Yeah. And so it is a big part. But you think about it, teamwork is in every business. Every
Yep.
organization has to have teamwork to make it work. So it is, and it's an analogy I use a lot because I think people love watching their sports, and they can
Right.
remember.
Well, and another thing that's important in terms of the opposite of that is when computers became important, they started selling everything the thing on individualized instruction, individualized, and suddenly that team was lost.
Right. Absolutely.
Except in sports.
Right. Right. And so what I would then do is I would then talk about after I went through all three of the words and what they modeled them. I was big in modeling, by the way. I didn't just tell you what to do. I modeled everything I want you to do. Sometimes with a lot of humor involved in it, right? But it made a point, and it made them want to watch because it was entertaining. So I believe school should be. I can't tell you how many people had tell me school shouldn't be fun. It should be about hard work, and I'd say, you know what? I disagree. School should be fun because when I am having fun, I work harder with
Right.
people I'm working with. Because if I'm working with a group of people that aren't having fun and they're just making it drudgery, I'm going to do bare minimum and get the heck out of there.
Right.
And go live my life.
Right. That goes back to me and play.
Yes. Yes. So it should be fun and it should be hard work, both, because that's the gas that keeps the engine moving and you got to fill it with gas. So that's, you keep putting that in the tank, it's going to help you keep going strong and working longer. So they're starting to pick up something's different, right? And then what I would do is I would take them outside for recess at some point early in that day, and they would start. When they came in, I remember I had an older teacher that came up to me. This was about 4 weeks in my career, and he says, "Do you tell them you care?" And I said, "What?" He goes, "He's this gruff guy, but all the kids seemed to love him, and he kind of scared me because I thought he was going to have a paddle or something."
Right.
He had short sleeves, the
Right, rolled up. Yeah.
window open even in the wintertime, and it's freezing. And he's like, "Oh, it's good for the kids. No sickness in my room, But he said to me, "Do you tell your kids you care?" Or he goes, "Do you tell them you care?" And I said, "Who?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he goes, "The kids. Do you tell them you care?" And I said, "I think they care because I'm doing this, and this."
That you think they know that you care
I think,
without telling them.
right. I think they know I care. And he'd say, "No. He says, don't assume." And then he goes, "What's the first three letters of assume?" And he's waiting for me to spell it out in my mind. He goes, "Do me a favor, go in there today and tell them you care." And then he walked away. So
I love that story.
I was scared of this guy, so I said, "I'm going to tell him." So I said, "Hey guys, I'm going to tell you something I never told anybody else before, any other group before, but I feel it, but I've never expressed it. I want you to know this right now. I care about you." And then I would tell them all the reasons I care about them. And I would say, "I can't do my job well if I don't help you do your job well. I'm your biggest fan this year. I'm not out to get you. I need you. That's why this is a team. I need you to help me have my best year ever. And the only way I can do that is help you have your best year ever. So we are a team working together to help everybody make it their best year ever." So I want you to start thinking about how important that is. I've already told you the benefits if you're on a best year ever team, but I want you to think about how important your part is and that I really do care. And then when I reprimand you, it will always be trying to help you grow and not to beat you down or embarrass you in front of your peers. That's not what I'm about. So I'll take you out in the hallway for 30 seconds to praise you or to sometimes tell you to make a change in what you're doing. But the kids in the classroom will never know because I will never do it immediately after something happens. I'll just kind of come back and circle around and say, "You got a second? Let's go out in the hallway." And I always ended on a positive with them. But the point is, so think about this. In the first hour of my day, pretty much, and then I tell them two more things. Your past doesn't equal your future.
I love that.
And that's hanging in my room. This is a new beginning. And I would hold up a file because we always had a file of the kids, their history in school, behavior problems, what they didn't do well, what they did well. And I'd say, "I'm giving this file," and I'd hold it up. "In here's your reputations. Everything you've done in school is in here." And I said, "And I've told my principal I will not read these until I get to know you." So they've bookmarked certain ones that has one page I will look at that has health concerns because I do want to be aware of your health concerns. But I'm not looking at this. Why? Because I didn't like when teachers would automatically say they thought they knew me or other teachers put me down and they're like, "Oh, I got Billy Cecil in my room." I don't know a thing about you. This is a new beginning. Every day is a new beginning in here. So come in looking to make the most of it. That's what I did in my life. You're going to hear my struggles because I tell them my struggles. But so within that first hour, they know that it's going to be an amazing different year. This is just the way this guy's, we haven't done any work yet, where he's just pumping us up with ideas and saying that he needs us, and that we have to do this together. He cares about us, and he's telling us all the ways he's going to show us he cares about us, which I do every day. But I also started to tell him pretty much at least 2 or 3 times a week if I had, guys, remember, I care about you. And I didn't say it when I was angry, like, I care about you. This is why it was, hey guys, I care about you. So tell me what worked in that exercise and what didn't work, because I want to make it better, And so I was always looking for ways to improve my game. Customer service. So, but the point is, I'm trying to get them in a different mindset, because every year I went in like this, already in the back, like it's going to be another year. There it is. The way you choose to see the world creates the world you see. That's another quote in my room. And I would go in looking for it, and sure enough, I'd find it, Whereas I want them to shock that out of them for just a day or two, and by the first 2 weeks, they're going to start to really believe.
Yeah, because they're automatically thinking this is a con.
Yeah,
I got to tell you.
Yes.
I mean, if there's one thing I know, it's that any teacher that says this is going to be different,
yes,
these kids are sitting back going, yeah, right, until when?
I tell people, you've got to work harder. It's like farmers. You got to work hard to put that crop in, clear the old field, get it set up, everything you got to do. That first month, they're working hard to get all that in there, and they're still always working hard. But that is the hardest month. It's not, when they're trying to get it out of it's trying to get it in before the rains or at the right time, and they're working hard. And
get the rocks out of the soil, till the soil.
So much involved.
Yeah. And
you and I both know, because we had farming in our families from the we were talking about. And so, but the point is that teachers assume the kids are just going to come prepared. Like, last year's teacher should have taught them that. I had teachers always tell me that, or something like, well, and I'd be like, are you kidding me? Like, everybody's different. They got to know your way. So then throughout the week, I would do things like procedures and how we're going to do this and that, and start building our winning procedures, because winning teams have procedures. But the point is that on that first hour, the first day, and throughout the day, because we go out and do team building once in the morning, once in the afternoon that first day, I want them to know this guy's different. He's really rooting for us, I think, and I think his energy's up, and I think he means what he says. And I'll bring this in when we talk about it again in the future. But I even sent a brochure home with the parents on the first day of school, telling them everything I just told you, but in bullet points, and sending a message to them that this is going to be a different year. Hopefully, their kids are going to come home excited. We're going to have our best year ever,
And what's really interesting about that, in terms of us trying to say, how do we, in a sense, rebuild successful schools, because of the testing and the social media and all and the individualized instruction, all those kind of things, is that you are saying to them, okay, teachers have been taught, here's a script, stick to the script, because the script is what's going to get them to pass these tests. Stick to the script. But you're saying to them, no, even with scripted and testing, I can offer them their best year ever.
Right.
Now, here's what's interesting to me that you and I have never talked about, and I've never thought about it, but this is best year ever in a classroom.
Right.
But why shouldn't it be best year ever that a principal takes it on for their teachers?
And I have had principals actually buy books for their school or whatever and say, we want to do this, with all the teachers. Is it something we can?
Yeah, but I'm not just saying in the classroom. I'm saying that the principal's attitude towards teachers is, this is going to be your best year ever. We want you to be authentic. We want to have a shared vision.
The lunch aides, everyone. I've seen schools that actually, and they may not call it best year ever. They have it doesn't have to. And I always tell people,
but you could.
It could, but it doesn't have to. But what it is everybody, they get a sense is on the same shared goal or mission.
Right.
And that's what I'm giving them in the first day is a target. Imagine if I put a target on a wall and I said to a group of teachers, somebody want to come up here and throw as many darts at that target as you can. Endless bucket of darts, 5 minutes. Every dart that hits the dartboard, I will give you $5 guaranteed. You didn't have to, it has to stick, but it has to be a bullseye. How many of you would be interested? Sure enough, all the hands would go up. I said, good, come on up here, somebody. They come up. And right before they start throwing, I say, okay, time. I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you 2 things. I'm going to blindfold you and I'm going to move the dartboard. Okay, ready, go. And so now start throwing. You got 5 minutes. You can still get $5 from dart. They're going to be throwing darts all over the room. Dart, time. Whew, man, they were working hard. Okay, take off your blindfold. There's the dartboard. And they look over and they're like, wow. I got close maybe once, maybe by a miracle I hit it once, but look at how many darts are on the ceiling, on the floor.
Because I'm not working together, and there's no shared.
I say that's a
no shared
classroom.
vision.
That's a classroom without a shared vision, because those students are the darts that you're just whipping around the room because they all have their own visions,
Right.
because they don't have your vision.
Right. I'm going to go back to the principle and the idea of best year ever.
Umbrella. Yep.
So when I was a teacher back in the day, I mean a full-time teacher rather than the special, the worst place you could ever go was the teacher's lounge. Yeah. The teacher's lounge was
negative sometimes.
Oh my God, so negative that you avoided it because there was a clique, and that clique, all they did was badmouth every single thing that was happening in that school. And I'm sitting going, wow, how interesting if you're a new principal.
Right.
And you're coming into, where's the clique that's bringing negative energy, that's saying every negative thing about, oh, another new idea, another, we've done this, we know that, we're just going to do it. So I'm like, how interesting to think of yourself as a principal having to
navigate all that.
Navigate and create a shared vision against the teacher's lounge people.
Yeah. Again, it's strength in numbers. Like people say to me, in your classroom, I'm sure there's some kids that don't want to do it. I'm like, there are a couple of kids that second day when I ask for their commitment, are you committed to this? Because I want you to go and talk about it with your parents. It won't hurt my feelings if you say no.
Right.
I don't want you to interfere with other people that are trying to make it work. I'm still going to help you try to make it work, even if you're not ready. I'm not going to mistreat you, but I'm still going to give you the same thing I'm giving everybody else that is working to make it happen. But that's your choice. I don't want you to feel like this is being forced on you. But if what happens is enough kids start doing it and they start to watch it from the fringes and they're like,
it's working.
Yeah, there's more work. It's positive peer pressure is what it is.
Right.
I got now more people going in that direction than me. And so either I learned to get in with that, or I'm going to be ostracizing myself more and more.
Right.
Kids would never be mean to the kids and we never use labels like, you're not doing best year ever. It was like, it's just, they tell me in private, so I don't even tell the class. But the point is that, it was strength in numbers. It's what it is. Again, it's like a farmer. You're planting the seeds, you're fertilizing the soil. You're doing all this work for 30 days because it takes 30 days to make a habit, right? Pavlov's dogs taught us that. Ring the bell, show the meat for 30 days, and pretty soon you just ring the bell and they slobber. And so after 30 days, they're connected. They stand out in the building as leaders in the team. Now imagine if a school did that.
Right. That's exactly what I'm saying. I mean, what's interesting, back when I was a kid, the teacher's lounge, those of us that were positive, we just didn't go into the teacher's lounge. We ate our lunches.
I ate in my room many times alone.
Eat your lunch by yourself.
It's more isolating for a teacher. Right.
So we became isolated rather than the idea of bringing us together.
Yeah.
Which really is the principal being, so that the importance of the teacher in the classroom or the principal in the building is crucial.
I've always said that if you have a teacher and you switch teams, or you get, like you leave in the middle of the year, that's going to dramatically change your class because you have to have somebody new take their spot. It's same with the principal. If a principal, they're more important than the superintendent many times.
Right.
Only because they control what goes on in that building.
Totally.
But anyway, so that's what's coming up. So and the main thing is tell your students you care and why you care about them. And I think that's a big win for that day and get that vision in their mind.
Okay, so we're getting ready to wrap up for today. And we are going to talk about, in the next 5 episodes, we're going to be way more specific about how to create a best year ever. And that's going to include, of course, the first one, which is have a shared vision. The next one is the importance of team building. The next one is, and this one I love, being an authentic teacher. Okay, get rid of that script or else have them teach you how to make the script sound authentic. The power of listening, and really important, every child is unique. And how do you create that unique kid and make sure that kid understands that he is a unique, successful kid who is part of a successful school? So we will be back in a week. Thank you. Goodbye.